Hello everyone. Today we will talk about Elie Wiesel, his life and work. Those who remain silent yesterday will remain silent tomorrow. To forget will not only be dangerous but offensive. Forgetting the dead will be equivalent to killing them a second time. Now, who was Elie Wiesel? Why does this matter? Well, it matters a lot. Because Elie Wiesel was a survivor of the Holocaust. And that is very important given what is happening in Israel and in Gaza. A lot of crimes and war is happening right now. Now, biography. He was an American writer of Romanian origin, born in Siget in 1928. In 1944, he was captured by the Nazi Germans and interned along with his family in the Birkenau concentration camp, later being transferred to Auschwitz. He was the sole survivor of his family. At the end of World War II, he settled in Paris and studied philosophy and literature at the University of Sorbonne. He managed to publish his first novel, Night, the first part of a trilogy that delved deeply into the drama of the Jewish Holocaust, which he later completed with Dawn and Day. He wrote works such as Biblical Celebration, Tales and Legends from the Old Testament, and Against Melancholy. In 1986, he won the Nobel Prize, and he passed away in New York in the year 2016. Now, why does this matter? Let us hear Elie Wiesel himself. What will become of society? What will become of memory? What will become of culture? What will become of civilization without memory? Memory is what makes a human being more human. What does it mean to be more human? It means opening ourselves to each other, to hope, and to mutual commitment, to help overcome the difficulties and challenges and dangers that are around in the world. So many Armenians should have been saved in those times. The tragedy lasted too long. Among the Jews themselves, later on they said, what happened to Armenians should not happen to us. But it did happen to them. And it's still happening right now, now in Palestine, and in China, and in so many places in the world, in Ukraine. So many innocent people dying in wars and in genocides, whether because of their religion, because of their ethnicity, because of their politics. Now, night, as you can see there in that image, that person with the red square is Elie Wiesel. His first novel, The Night. It consists of his memories and reflections of his life during the Holocaust, describing his anguish, suffering, the death of God, and values. Flames, enormous flames, rose from a ditch. Something was burning there. A truck approached and unloaded its cargo. Small children. Babies. Yes, I saw it with my own eyes. Children thrown into the flames. Is it any wonder that since then sleep tends to elude me? And I will never forget that night. The first night in the camp, which turned my life into a long night sealed 7 times. I will never forget that smoke. I will never forget the small faces of the children whose bodies I saw transform into smoke under a silent sky. And I will never forget those flames that consumed my faith forever. I will never forget the nighttime silence that deprived me of the desire to live for all eternity. I will never forget those moments that killed my God and my soul and turned my dreams into ashes. I will never forget these things, even if I were condemned to live as long as God Himself. Never. About 10,000 men had come to participate in a solemn service, including the blacksmith, the capos, and all the bureaucrats in the service of death. Blessed be the Almighty. The voice of the officiating prisoner had just become audible. At first, I thought it was the wind, but I heard it again. Blessed be the name of God. And thousands of lips repeated the blessing, bowed like trees in a storm. Blessed be the name of God. Why? But why should I bless him? Every fever in my being rebelled. Because he had caused thousands of children to burn in mass graves? Because he kept six crematoria working day and night, including the Sabbath and the holy days? Because in his great power he had created Auschwitz, Birkenau, Buna, and so many other factories of death? How could I say to him, "Blessed are you, Almighty Lord of the universe, who chose us among all nations to be tortured day and night, to witness our fathers, our mothers, our brothers ended up in ovens? Praise be your holy name for having chosen us to be sacrificed on your altar." How is it possible that God, if He is all loving and all powerful, why would He allow evil to exist? Why would He allow such tragedies as the Holocaust, as the Second War, the First War, and all the genocides that have happened in history? Why, if He is so good and so full of love, why would He allow this? What is the point of all the evil? If people are made for happiness and for goodness, why are their rights not vindicated by God Himself? Why does He not make justice? Why He is silent when evil rises? Dawn. Unlike Night, Dawn is a work of fiction. It tells the story of Elisha, a Holocaust survivor after the war. Elisha moves to the British Mandate of Palestine and joins the Irgun, a paramilitary group determined to drive the British out of the area. One night, he is told that he must execute a British officer at dawn. The novel explores his internal struggle leading up to the execution, while reflecting on his life and those who have impacted it. So, the novel is about Zionism, about those Zionist terrorists that wanted to rule over the Holy Land. Now, let us read. For generations, we wanted to be better, purer than our predecessors. You already know the result. Hitler, the extermination camps in Germany. Well, we are tired of being more just than those who claim to speak in the name of justice. They did not invoke justice when the Nazis were annihilating a third of our people. When Jews are killed, the whole world remains silent. 20 centuries of our history prove it. We cannot rely on anyone but ourselves. If we have to become unjust and inhumane to expel those who are unjust and inhumane to us, we will. We don't like to sow death until now. We have always preferred the role of a victim, that of the executioner. Thou shalt not kill. That command that was given to humanity from the summit of one of the mountains of Palestine. We were the only ones to obey it, but we will stop doing so. We will be like everyone else. Death will not be our profession, but our duty. During the days, the weeks, and months to come, you must only think of this: killing those who turn us into murderers, killing them so that we can become men again. And there is a very important moment where the protagonist kills a convoy of soldiers, and we can read this. And I remembered the WS soldiers in the ghettos of Poland. That's how they gunned down the Jews, day after day, night after night. Some machine guns here and there. An officer who, laughing or eating, gave a brief command and fire, and the sight of fire began to cut heads and legs. Some Jews tried to break through the cycle, but they crashed their heads against a fiery and impassable wall. They run like strutters drunk on wine and pain, and death caught up with them too. In war, there are no right, there are no wrong, there are no heroes, there are only villains, there are only monsters. In war, people kill each other, and they rape women, and they kill the children, and people turn into monsters, into enemies. It doesn't matter who is right or who is wrong. if the cause is just or not. In the war, it's always the same thing. People killing each other. People that were born to be happy, to be humane, to have families, to have friends. They start killing each other and destroying their heads for no purpose. It's completely nihilistic and without meaning when human life is taken away. Now, this is the very important thing. This is the best moment in the novel. When the protagonist is about to kill John Dawson, the officer, the British officer. Let us hear. Why? I thought. What a question, John Dawson. Without hatred. Without hatred, everything we do, my comrades and I, would be meaningless. Without hatred, our struggle will have no chance of bringing us victory. Why do I try to hate you, John Dawson? Because my people never knew how to hate. Their tragedy over the centuries can be explained by the lack of hatred against those who try to exterminate them, against those who often manage to humiliate them. Our only chance now, John Dawson, is to know how to hate, to learn the art and the necessity of hatred. Otherwise, otherwise, John Dawson, our future will only be an extension of the past, and the Messiah will continue to wait for his liberation. Why are you trying to hate me? He asked again. To give my next art a meaning that transcends it, I replied. And that is the point. That is the most important teaching, is that you have no enemies, not a single one. People do not have enemies. People were not meant to kill each other. People were not meant to hate. When a man comes into the world, it's a blessing. It's wonderful. It's beautiful to see a man's love for his wife and bringing a child into the world. It was not hatred, it was not the desire to destroy, but it was being. It was love. It was us following our nature. To bring a man into the world was an act of love. A man is a social creature. He's a creature that is meant to have friends, to have a family, to have a wife or husband, to have children. People were not meant to kill each other, but to live in peace. Isn't it a blessing when a man comes into the world and we can think of all the wonderful things he can be? He can be a scientist, a lawyer, a man of love and of compassion. But at the same time, he can be a beast, worse than a beast. He can be an animal, a man that kills people, a man that does not care for the poor and the weak. And what is more evident of the capacity for human evil than war, where people kill each other for no reason, only because their superior told them to, instead of trying to live in peace with communication and try to resolve their problems through diplomacy, through conversation. They resolve the problems by killing each other, destroying each other, raping their wives, and killing their children. What could be more inhumane, more unnatural than that? And they is the story of the Holocaust survivor who is hit by a taxi in New York City while recovering from his injuries. The character reflects on his relationships and experiences during World War II, ultimately coming to terms with his survival and the deaths of his family and friends. It is better to not speak of the last novel, and it's best for you to read it yourself. But with this introduction, now you probably know what Elie Wiesel is about and why it's important to read Elie Wiesel, especially given the war in Israel that is happening right now. May God bless you, and may beauty save the world.